Hi guys, I am Bharat and today I'm going to show you how to make this different aspect ratio image gallery on Framer using variables. The problem with Framer is if Framer CMS is if you change if you add a CMS item, let's say if you add a let's add a CMS item. So let's go to CMS, let's add this. I don't need this. I'm gonna set fill. I'm gonna set fill. So if you see, the issue is if I change the size and I play with the height or I play with the width of one list, it changes to all the list items. Even though the thing is, I cannot set the perfect aspect ratios sizes for each image because some image may be vertically wide, some image may be horizontal, some may be square, some may be lengthy. So I need the ability to do that, but apparently it's not providing me that ability because it does it to all the images. So there is no way I can add a separate aspect ratio to each image. But there is a trick that we can use using the CMS fields and playing around with this grid. So I have this CMS. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the CMS list item to fill height and the width, and the image inside to fill it as well, and the list to be fixed, the height to be fixed, and the width to be filled. And I'm going to make it as a grid, and let's say the column 2 and height equal to fill container, width equal to minimum 50, leave it as default, and I set the stack and the page to be fit so it fits the content. So let's go inside CMS, and if you see there is, let's go inside the CMS. Let's go inside the CMS and let's add a field. So let's say I need two fields. I want to determine how each image and how much columns and how much row each image should fill. I can determine it on each item. So I can add different aspect ratio for different images. So let's go over here. Let's add a number. Let's say column and rows. Okay. So for each image, I can add a column and a row. So for each CMS item, if I'm just having one image here, so I'm just using it for default. If you have multiple images, create multiple columns and rows and name it as column 1, column 2, row 1, row 2. I'm adding random numbers to this. Let's say 2, column 2, row 2. Let's say row 3, column 1. Don't do minus, don't add minus numbers, of course. 2, row 3. Okay. Now if you see, I added columns and rows. So how can I define it here? So come here, and here on this on the primary item, you see this columns and rows. Go here, go to column and format number. When 1, span 1. When 2, span 2. When 3, span 3. So fallback span all. So what happens is, what I'm doing is I'm converting it. So I'm converting it as when the column is 1, this gonna fill one column. When it's 2, it's gonna fill 2 columns, and so on. Same thing I'm gonna do to row 2. I'm gonna go to rows, format number, 1, span 1, 2, span 2, 3, span 3. If you see, each item is in a different aspect ratio. So let's say I want this image to cover 2 columns and this one come to here. So I'm gonna go this here, 2 columns. So okay, how many columns? Okay, I have now it's perfect. You see, it's we have different aspect ratio for different images. So let's say I want this image to be, I don't want it to cover two rows, I just want it to cover one row. I can go here, you can go here and add it to one row. You add it to one, it will shrink itself. So I'll say this one is too wide, I just want it to, I just want to cover it more rows, less row. I just want this much amount. I can go here, go to this image. This is covering two rows. I can make it one row. It will become more smaller. And if you see these images, it's so perfect. And I don't want to change anything. So this is how you change. So if you have trouble in something, let's say you come into this and you see this image filling the space, but you have a gap here. What can you do is you can see how much row this image is covering. So we go here, this image is covering two rows, and let's see how much this is covering. Change its rows to this one. So let's say this one is covering just one, so let me make it two, so it covers the entire space. There is no white spaces between. So that's how we play with it. The length and size is defined of your fixed size, fixed height of the fixed height. I always say make it as large as possible, so you can play around with it. And here you can add different. So here what can you do is you can reduce the column, so you can have the on mobile version you can reduce the columns to play around, or you could add another variable for mobile too. So for mobile, maybe add it to fill, or mobile don't need for mobile I don't need any, let's say for mobile I don't need anything. I just wanted to fill it like this, so you can also do that. So that's how you use variables in a very efficient way to have different aspect ratio to different images on Framer CMS. Thank you.